Hello, today we're going to be going over the Analytical Combat Simulator. This is an application that I designed and built to test and log the interactions of combat units in a combat scenario with various properties, counts, and arrangements. So when we take a look at the map here, we can see that we've got two groups of units, a blue group and a red group. And when we start playing our battle batches, then these two groups will face off against each other in various ways. Okay, we can add more units to the board. To do that, we want to select the unit owner here, either blue or red, and the unit type. We've got Archer and Archer 1, which is a slight variant of the Archer unit. So let's start off with one in Archer, and then you just click anywhere on the map, and it will place a unit there. Notice that each unit has an index number that represents the order in which the units were placed, which will become important when we start to play our batches. Okay, we can drag and drop the units. We can delete units by dragging them off the screen, and you'll notice the index numbers update. Alright, we can draw a box around them with drag and drop, and then move them wherever we want to. And we can clear the map by hitting the clear button. Alright, let's go ahead and put some of these units back. And for the red side, let's use Archer 1 this time. Okay, so over here on the sidebar, we have a types active right now, which shows us all the properties for our different unit types. We have Archer here at the top, and it has a name, a hit point value, a range, an attack power, number of attacks per turn, armor, which reduces incoming damage, a speed for movement, a symbol, which you can see is used for the unit's graphics, and a tactic, either target closest or target most damaged enemy. Okay, and Archer 1 is very similar, except it has a lower power value. So when these two unit groups face off, blue should probably win. It has a lot more power, 20. So the red side should be wiped out pretty quickly. Alright, so the range and speed are related to the map size. So this map is a 1,000 by 1,000 grid, and it's divided into 100 by 100 squares and subdivided again into 20 by 20. The units will automatically lock to the 20 by 20 grid, and these numbers basically mean that each unit has a range of about 9 squares and can move about 3 squares distance per turn. The scenarios are all turn-based, so a unit in a scenario will target another unit, and then it will either move or attack for its turn. If the unit is not in range, it will move towards it, but if it is in range, it will attack it. And then it will continue until only one side is left. Okay, so here for our unit types, we can create new types using the create button here, and here are all of our settings. We can also duplicate a unit type. So we see another one pop up down here with the exact same values. We can use the place button to change the selector up here. We can hit the remove button to delete it. And yeah, that's it for our unit types tab. Let's take a closer look at our individual units on the units sidebar. So here we've got a lot of information and utilities. First, we've got the movement buttons. So if we select a group of units, we can move them left, we can move them right, we can move them up, we can move them down. We can flip them across the vertical axis, or we can flip them across the horizontal axis. We can also center them on the horizontal axis or on the vertical axis. And I'll go ahead and put these back. But you'll also notice that we have our unit lists and coordinates here for blue and red. And as we move red around, red's numbers auto-update. All right, these numbers are useful for saving and importing little arrangements. We have a copy button that will copy that text to the clipboard. and an import section down here, which will allow us to paste in this information and import it as unit groups. So if I go ahead and delete these guys and try to import, we'll get another group show up. So let's flip these numbers horizontally and then go ahead and import them for the blue side. Oops. Looks like we flipped it the wrong way. Let's try that again. There we go. Now it wound up on the right side. If you flip this vertically and try to add it again, they'll pop up down here. All right. Let's flip that again horizontally. Okay. Well, let's get rid of all these guys. We don't need that many units for this side. Okay. Now I think we're back where we need to be. But let's import. Okay. On the red side. So the difference between the add and the import button is that the add button will basically add as many units as you want, like so. All right, but if you use the import button, it will get rid of all the other units and only leave the ones you imported for that side. Okay, let's go ahead and drag these guys over into a reasonable location, and I believe that's everything. Oh yeah, you've got another option here. Let's get rid of these guys and say that for our red side, instead of wanting to import, yeah, we need red. We can use the selector up here to tell what type we want to import. So we can import Archer 1. Let's switch that to Archer, and let's flip it across the, flip it horizontally and add. So there we get that group. Yeah, let's try flipping it horizontally, selecting Archer 1, and then adding that. See, you can set the type there if you want to. You can also specify the type in the text box. So let's get rid of this guy. Go away. All right. So here you'll see if we go ahead and put Archer at the top and hit the add button, it'll do that. If we change it to Archer 1 and we flip it horizontally, it will do that. Okay, so I think that does it for our import and our unit pane. Let's bring these over here. Oh yeah, there are a few other things to discuss involving the map. If you have a group of units selected, you can change their owner by using the drop down here, and you can also change the type. All right, now I think we're set up for a good battle. Let's go ahead and give them a 6th unit because these guys are so underpowered. You can also download an image of the map, and you can use that for posting or whatever you'd like to do. But let's get started with our batches. So to start the batch play, and we'll talk a little bit more about how the batches work while they're playing, just go over here to click the batch button and give the batch a name. We'll call it block 12_1 for our first set, and we'll tell it to repeat twice. Okay, and then click OK. Now what the game will do is start to pit different numbers of units against each other, starting with one on one side and one on the other, and then going to 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, all the way up to the largest unit count number for both sides. So looks like we've got 24 different battles for our units that need to fight based on the number of units each side has. We also have a fight speed here. So right now we're at the slowest speed with 300 milliseconds for each turn, but we can lower that to get through our batches quickly. Also notice that we count our battle numbers here as well as our repeat numbers. So soon that will all be accomplished. All right. And then we've got 4 units here, and we've got 6 units, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Yep, 4 times 6 is 24. That's how we get the number of battles that will be fought in the batch. Okay, so now that we've gotten through our first couple of batches, let's take a look at the graph to see how the battles wound up. All right, so here on the graph we have a heat map, which has a square in the grid for every single arrangement of units. 1 through 4 on this side and 1 through 6 on this side. And you'll notice that indeed blue decimated red. The color of the square represents the winner, and the number represents the final health for the whole group. Yeah, looks like red did very poorly. In addition to health, we can also look at ending unit counts. We can look at ending health percent. So we can see that blue got away with almost no scratch in these fights. And we can also take a look at unit count percent. So it looks like on most of these battles, blue didn't even lose a single unit. All right. So that's lots of fun. We can also change the batch, because right now we're looking at all batches. And the graph will also average out the ending health values for all the units with a specific batch name. But right now we only have one batch name. There was a repeat, so there's 2 battles represented in each one of these squares. That's the average of both of those battles. We can also download a picture of this graph that you can use to post anywhere you like. Okay, so let's close that down and take a look at our log. So the log stores the ending final results for each battle, for each unit, for each side. And it stores it like this. You have the unit ID, or not the, just the row ID. This is an auto increment value for all the rows in the table. We have a batch name, which we set to block 12_1. We have the batch index, which shows the first batch here that we did, and then the repeat happens here. We have our 24 individual battles that were fought, and each battle on this in this group has 2 rows. So we can see battle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way down here to battle 24. And then we switch over to 1 again. We notice that the batch ID increases by 1. Or sorry, batch index. Okay, the commander here represents which side this row represents, and the unit name tells us which unit is represented by the row. We have that group's starting health, that group's starting count, that group's ending health, and that group's ending count. We also have whether that unit was on the winning side, that unit group was on the winning side, and how many turns that battle required. So here we can see that we started off with 1 unit for each side. The unit on the blue side ended with 85 health, and the other side ended with nothing. So obviously this side was the winner. And as we move down, you can notice that each pair has a different starting value for units and health, as well as ending. All right, you can download the CSV file using the download button, and you can reset it to be blank if you want to. So let's close that out and see if we can give ourselves a different kind of battle. So I'm going to make our powers a little bit more reasonable. We'll set this one to 15. So we'll go ahead and start our batch. Whoops, let's get that 7 out of there. Okay, and we'll call this 12_2. And we'll repeat that twice. All right, we should notice that our our graph will be a little bit more fair once all these batches are done. Okay, taking a look at the graph, we'll notice that first off we start set to all, which does an average of all battles across all batches. But we can switch to only look at the original one, block 1, or we can take a look at the most recent one, number 2. And we'll notice that indeed it looks like the battle is a little bit more fair. Red still has a bit of an advantage, but blue wasn't, blue wasn't absolutely destroyed. Yeah, red did pretty well on that one. Red did pretty well on this one too. Looks like blue kind of still has the lead, so long as red doesn't have, an overwhelming number of units. But we also notice as soon as we gain an extra unit, red grabs the advantage. So 1 unit is able to offset the difference in firepower pretty considerably. All right, let's take a look at the log. And we'll notice that we have our first group of batches here labeled as 1, and followed by our next group of batches labeled by 2. And it works pretty similarly, except the numbers are going to be a little bit different. And that's that. So let's take a look at a new kind of battle, one where we have more than 1 unit type per side. So I'm going to go ahead and add archers to the red side, and we're going to add archer 1s to the blue side. Okay, let's run these batches and see what happens. We'll call this batch number 3. All right. This is going to give us a little bit different spread in our log and our graph. But it'll be very interesting to see how that data is recorded. Okay. Let it run for a little while longer until we get through our 63 individual battles. And then we'll come over and take a look at the graph to see what happens. Okay, so on our graph, we'll notice that the all graph now contains an entry for every single battle, though some of these higher numbers are only going to be represented inside of the final batches. It makes more sense, though, if we look at the individual ones, because we still have 1 and we still have 2, and now let's take a look at 3. There we go. Red has a few more units available, so it looks like it did better overall. But when the units are evenly paired in number, it looks like, except for the last battle here, blue takes the advantage. All right, let's take a look and see how that was recorded in the log. So coming down here to battle batch number 3, we'll start off with, here we go, archer for side blue, right? Yeah, blue is side 1, correct? Let's get back centered at the right spot. Okay, so archer here for blue and archer for red. Now in the earlier battles, we don't see any, we'll only see 2 unit types here in the table, because in those battles only 2 unit types exist. So this first battle will only have 2 rows. However, when we get down to the later battles, when we have mixed units, you'll notice here on battle 63 that we have 4 rows. So we've got 2 rows for commander number 1, one for archer, or one for his archers and one for his archers number 1. We have individual unit counts and health values, as well as the outcome. It looks like all of them were decimated. And over here for side 2, we've got these archers, and looks like we've got some higher starting counts, and we also have some health values for the units that were left over. So it looks like this side won. All right. So there we go. Let's go ahead and hit the reset CSV to clear all that information out, just to demonstrate how that works, and close her out. I think that goes over everything that's available inside the Analytical Combat Simulator. Have fun.